Yeah, politics. A lot of people think that playing politics can help the black race. A lot of people think that if you just play chess or, well, life, everything in life is a chess game, but as far as like politics go, uh, the reason why politics can't save black people is because you're in the wrong court. You're in the wrong court. You can't win when you are on the opposition's court, playing by their rules. Being in America, being black people in America is the same as if we get into a rocket ship and fly to another planet and decide that we're gonna play a game with the Martians, with the aliens or whatever, under their rulership on their planet. Okay, it's a possibility that if we are smart enough, we can play chess with them and, I don't know, get something out of it maybe. It's going to be seriously hard to do that though. But it might be able to happen if they don't shoot us out the sky or kill us as soon as we step off the motherfucking ship. But here in America, the only thing that will save black people, and this is funny, like for real, because when you look at Louis Farrakhan, when you look at motherfuckers like Khalid Muhammad, if you look at any black leader, past or present, that was not concerned with separation, you have to question that person's loyalty to the race. And you have to question their objective. Because when you take all these rich black people, you look at it like this. Arabs, when Arab men sit around the table and plan, plot, strategize, they don't get along all fine and dandy 24/7. They have issues amongst each other. Some Arab men don't get along. You know, they have differences and everything. But when it comes down to the betterment of the race and the upliftment of to the side, and they get to it, they take care of that business. You know, white people, Chinese people, you know, everybody does this except black people. We the only ones that can't come together and get anything accomplished for ourselves. We still try to use politics, which ain't doing nothing but begging the white man to save the day. We're going to continuously play the white man's political games, which is basically saying, hey, help us, when we can really help ourselves. These black people get rich and they run off with their money, man, and they be sitting on a mountain of cash, man, and they leave black people to fend for themselves. Like, imagine if all the black people was to stop bickering, all the black men stop bickering, stop bitching, and stop complaining, and say, you know what? These communities are fucked up because of the lack of jobs. These communities are fucked up because from slavery, an ignorant mind frame was passed down. That needs to be changed. And these women, as you know, a nation can't rise no higher than the moral position of its women. So these women need to be trained from a young age. So The only thing that can save black people is, the main thing would be to leave America, have a land of our own, and have our own currency. Drop out of this system. But if that don't happen, then we got to figure out a way to make it happen here. We need our own schools, and those schools need to have programs that bring young kids up into adulthood, that preps them to be tomorrow's leaders. We need our own hospital systems. My brother died about 6 months ago. He was pretty much killed by the hospital over time. You know, they had him on about 15 different medications. He never, smoked a day in his life. He wasn't a drinker. He was an athlete his whole life. High blood pressure came from the diet that was passed down through slavery. Chitlins, hog maws, high starch, greasy ass, sugary ass diet. Very few fruits and vegetables. A lot of black people, the only time they eat vegetables is when they eating some cabbage or some greens. But you got certain black people like myself that like to eat a salad on a daily basis. But for the most part, the diet is horrible, and that was passed down through slavery. So he was suffering from high blood pressure. Then he ended up having diabetes. They had him on all these medications. The doctors was using him as a guinea pig. These are the reasons why the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors are partnered. They have partnerships. And these are the reasons why so many black people die at the hands of hospitals, or die at the hands of interacting with hospitals over long periods of time. We need our own hospitals. We sit up and we complain about the lies that they teach our kids in public schools, but we not doing nothing to put our own private schools into play. Look at all these rich black people, man. Look at them. They ain't concerned with what's going on in East Cleveland or Chicago or Detroit or nowhere. Only thing they give a fuck about is their personal intermediate family, their little circle. You know what I mean? Like, it's so mind-boggling how the black race just don't give a fuck about the welfare of each other. I couldn't imagine being a millionaire black man riding through the hood in a $250,000 car, and it's wintertime, and it's dead cold outside, and it's a young black girl standing at the bus stop in a blizzard with a stroller, and she got one baby with her that's barely walking, can't even hardly keep up with her, standing there in the snow up to his waist, and she got a stroller with a baby in it crying with dried up snot on his nose. The stroller is raggedy as fuck. The mother barely got a good warm coat on herself. How could you be a rich black person to ride past something like this? You got a blunt in your mouth, and you so full of yourself, and you so full of shit, and you so cool with your seat linked all the way back with that blunt in your mouth that you probably don't even notice her. You don't give a fuck. That shows where your mind is. These black people, man, even in the rap game, I remember when I was young and shit, when I was like in elementary school, that's when a lot of black people used to vote. Nothing changed. And as time went on, more and more black people started not to vote. They started to not vote. Still, nothing changed. After slavery, during slavery, let me just say this before I make my next point. During slavery, every slave plantation wasn't the same. You had some plantations that were more uh, no plantation is classy, but you had some plantations that had a little more prestige to them than others. Like the slaves were only required to like serve be doormen and cook and secretarial duties and wait tables and keep the house clean and keep the yard clean, and they lived in better conditions. They might have lived in a basement or something like that, to where, or you might have a slave plantation with a slave master that chews tobacco, stinks, doesn't bathe, poor vocabulary, violent. You know, he constantly raped men, constantly raped the men slaves, raped the women slaves, indulge in slaves fighting each other, betting money on it and shit, slave fights, you know, whipping slaves, tar and feather, and set them on fire, hang them from the tree by their balls, and the whole picnic thing, you know, pick a nigga to fuck up. So the mind frame of a slave coming from a plantation like that is going to be he's stupid, ignorant, self-hate, but angry than a motherfucker, aggressive than a motherfucker, a monster. But the other slave that came from the situation where he was pretty much had to wear a bow tie and answer the door and shit, he had to have a little ability to communicate so he could speak better, and he was a little more intelligent than some slaves from the other plantation. So when the slaves got emancipated, some slaves went this way, some went that way. And that's why to this very day you have black people that are intellectuals, and you have black people that appear to just be no earthly good. And all at the same time, these slaves get rich, and they don't turn back and look at the community and say, man, I'm coming back for y'all. It's just like on that movie District 9. And I'm gonna make a video about that movie District 9. But when he left on the ship, he told the other aliens, he said, man, I'll be back. I'm coming back to get y'all. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Shalom.